Welcome to the Radient Pearl Business Circle, where we talk about business, leadership, and self-care. I'm your host, Renee Morgan, founder and CEO of Radient Pearl Coaching and Consulting, certified business and executive coach. Today's topic, the rise to leadership. Today's guest is a personal longtime friend of mine who I consider a family member. He serves as the Director of Veterans Health Legislative Affairs Service within the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. He's an experienced government affairs professional with over 25 years combined experience with military and federal service. He has been appointed and served diligently on many boards and commissions, such as being appointed by Maryland State Governor Martin O'Malley to serve as a commissioner on the Maryland Fire Rescue and Education Commission. He was appointed by the Prince George's County Executive Rushern Baker and unanimously confirmed by their council as a member of the Prince George's County Personnel Board. He also served as the commissioner and chairman for the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. Our guest is passionate about civic engagement and community service and has held numerous roles and positions within the state of Maryland. He serves as an advisory board member to the Footprint Scholarship Fund. He's also my brother in service, where he is a proud and active member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated, where he recently concluded his tenure as president of the Pi Upsilon Lambda chapter and named Alpha Man of the Year. Today, I introduce you to my personal friend and brother, Omar Boulware. Hey, Omar, how you doing?
Hey, Renee, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. So excited.
Yeah. You know, you and I have known each other for almost decades now, and I'm just so excited to introduce you to just more of the world and the universe. We have combined friends together, and so there's a larger crew outside of here. But wanted to get you on here to really showcase who you are and talk about your rise to leadership. And so, you know, I'm just truly excited that you're here. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started with your career.
Sure. Again, just wanted to say, Renee, thank you so much for the invitation. I know you could have invited so many more qualified individuals to grace the Radient Pearl Business Circle, but I'm thankful that you extended this opportunity to me, and I'm deeply honored. And thank you for your over 20 years of friendship. You are my sister in so many respects, and so I really love to see the success that you're having right now, and certainly know that you're going to take this to the next level, because that's what you do. You know, over 25 years of combined military and federal service. I truly believe that, you know, in the quote from JFK, that to ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And so, you know, that's kind of how I've lived my life. That's been my purpose, is to serve the community who's given so much to me. I mean, I have a very interesting background. As you know, I lost my mom when I was very young, and I didn't want to become a statistic growing up in a small town in North Carolina. And it was really my community that embraced me, that you know, motivated me to push for the best and do well. And I certainly haven't wanted to disappoint them. So I've been, you know, joined the Navy while I was in college, and it brought me to the DC area. I was stationed at the Pentagon, where I loved it, and decided that I didn't want to leave and wanted to stay. I have a political science background, so what better place to be in the business of politics than in the nation's capital? So started at the Pentagon in the Navy Office of Legislative Affairs as a legislative liaison, and then came over to the VA as Congressional Relations Officer, and now the Director of the Veterans Health Legislative Affairs Service. So it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy what I do.
Yeah. So I hear you're from North Carolina. Is sure it's not South Carolina?
Yeah. I don't know about that other Carolina. You know, I hear that it's, you know, it's got nice beaches. I'll give it that, but it's certainly not North Carolina, which, according to news reports that I read this week, is now the #1 state for doing business in the country. So shout out to North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm messing with you there. I know there are folks who will be listening who will get out of North Carolina, South Carolina.
They had to come to North Carolina for their education. So.
Oh my gosh. No, it's all good. It's all good. I love to see the rivalry. It's always awesome to see the North Carolina, South Carolina thing. So yeah, so awesome stuff. But so you've been in politics, you've been in the community. When I talk about you being diligent, you've just always been just a person that has just taken on a task, been reliable, been there, been just a person that has just taken on the leadership role. So let me ask you, what does leadership mean to you?
Well, I have a very simple definition of leadership, and it is really just being able to inspire and motivate individuals to follow you to a common goal or purpose. Those that, leaders have different styles, and knowing what kind of style of leadership you have certainly enhances your ability to get those to follow you. And so I think that it's very important for leaders to kind of know what leadership means to them and how to get others to follow.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you get started with your leadership career? I know you mentioned some things in terms of the Navy, but give us a brief background.
And I was thinking about this earlier today while I was attending the Omega service for one of my fraternity brothers, who had a very long and storied career in academia as well as in the fraternity. But he mentioned, his start was in the church, and so was mine. I had the opportunity, or at least my first exposure to leadership was as president of the junior usher board.
Wow, really?
And, yeah. I mean, number one, I was told I was going to do it.
Okay.
I was just told you're going to do this. So I was responsible for making sure that my fellow junior ushers, who were all my peers at the time, made it to church on time, were in proper uniform, knew what to do and how to pass the plate, if you will, because none of us wanted to disappoint our parents. So they usually followed my lead, mainly because their parents liked me for some reason. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But then they would all rag on me later on about what a dictator I was. So and that's following me on to this day for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds familiar. Whenever we're at political events or even in the scholarship, you're like, let's get it together, let's get it done. And people just fall in line. I mean, I think it's like you said, it's a natural thing for you. And now that I'm hearing the church thing for the first time, I'm just like, wow, I'm finding out new things about my friends every day, right? So, but that's amazing. I mean, you do that so much in your career now with getting people together and motivating them. So, how do you, in your current position, motivate your team to follow, or not even follow, but to really guide them to get to the mission?
Yeah. Well, the good thing, working for the government is very hierarchical. So, when you're a director and you got to work for the director, you got to do what the director says, right? So that part is kind of easy. But being able to inspire my team, I don't forget where I came from. I lead a team of congressional relations officer, which is what I did prior. So I know, what they do. I know what they're experiencing. I know the challenges that they have. And so as a director, leading them, they know that I'm in the fight with them. And all they have to do is come to me when they run into an obstacle or an issue. And I'm going to be there to help solve that issue or help them overcome that obstacle. And I think them knowing that, hey, Omar's been there. He knows what he's talking about. He's walked the walk. He knows what we're facing. I think it really does help me be able to manage them and inspire them to, do whatever our secretary, whatever the administration's priorities are at the moment on the Hill. It really helps me be able to communicate that to them that, hey, this is where we need to go, and this is who we need to reach out to, and in hopes that we can pass good legislation that's going to have a positive impact on the veterans that we serve. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing stuff. So it's being that guide, being that person, being in the trenches with them. You've been an example. You've been in that position before, and now you're leading them in that same position. And so, it's amazing because a lot of times you'll see leaders who've never really done the work that their team has done, which is fine. It's not anything that's a slight. It's more so, I think more has more, stamina behind it when you know that your leader has done your job before.
Absolutely.
Right? They understand exactly what you're doing. They understand exactly what your needs are, and so they're responsive to that. And good leaders, like as you mentioned, it's more so it's knowing how to be in the trenches with your people so that they can follow and be able to execute or be able to provide whatever initiatives or deliverables for their job, that is just resonates with the team and working together with you as a leader to move forward. One of the things, I know you were appointed to several commissions and boards. A lot of times people apply for those types of positions. A lot of people, try to go through their, someone to get just even on a board or even just to be near a board. So how did you get appointed to so many boards unanimously and like through the governor and the Prince George's County executive? What's
I have you to thank for that, Renee. As you know, through our mutual association, through wonderful organization that I still hold very near and dear to my heart, the Prince George's County Young Democrats, where I served under you as vice president of membership. That was really my introduction into county and state politics. And without your guidance, I probably would not have had the opportunity to be exposed to the individuals that would later on help me, or ask me to serve in different capacities throughout the state. So thank you.
Wow.
But I think really what it is, it's just a matter of, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't know about the number of civic, boards that are at the disposal of the state and local levels.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate, and I want to thank Governor O'Malley for his faith in me and appointing me to the Maryland Fire Rescue Education Commission. I got that appointment through a mutual friend, Earl Adams, who was serving as the deputy chief of staff to the lieutenant governor at the time, Anthony Brown. And so, he was like, "Hey, we got some boards that we need to get good people on. So, what do you think you would be interested in?" He knew I had a background, with the Navy and what I was doing there. And so he was like, "Hey, I'll find something for you." And he did. And so he put my name forward, sent in my resume. The governor appointed me. I had to go in front of the Senate nominating committee for the state of Maryland and get confirmed.
Wow.
And so, it was a real process, but it prepared me for what was to later come when, I had the great opportunity to work with our former county executive, Rushern Baker, during his 2 terms as county executive. First, he appointed me to the Prince George's County Personnel Board, where I learned a lot. I learned so much during that short period that I was a board member. But then he was like, "Hey, Omar, I really could use your help and assistance at the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission." And I'm like, "Whoa, now that's a big deal because it's a quasi-state agency that's also by county. We work with Montgomery County, and I was appointed as one of 6 commissioners, 3 from Prince George's, 3 from Montgomery. And then my colleagues decided, "Hey, Omar, we like you enough that we'll make you chairman." And so I had to serve as chairman of the commission for a while. Served 5 years there. Wonderful time. Great people to work with. I learned so much about water and how much water is so important and vital, not only politically but economically. So it's definitely one of the highlights of my time providing civic advocacy, if you will, or civic support. But just making sure that you're in the right places at the right time, you're connecting with individuals, you have a sense of political priorities, of the leaders that would likely appoint you to these positions. And having a sense of, what it is you want to do while you're there. There's a lot of folks who serve in different capacities just to serve or just to see. I'm not one of those individuals. So I actually like to invest 110% of whatever it is that I'm being asked to do. I'm going
Yeah.
to put into a job. So,
Yeah.
so
You do.
that's how that's how it got started. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
And I really do enjoy it.
Oh, wow, Omar. I'm humbled. I know you and I have talked before. I'm humbled that you say that about me,
I
that
mean
I
it.
want
I
to
mean it. I mean it. I
get
really do.
started. We all have the network that we meet people and we kind of just branch off from there. It was my honor to just be connected with you at the time, and just so excited that that was a path that you took to get to just amazing positions, amazing networks. You did the work. It's not. I just merely kind of moved out of the way, and you just soared. Like you said, you do 110%. And I mean, I would say being appointed to boards, connecting with the right people, has just definitely gotten you to places where a lot of folks could just only imagine, in their career and in their life. So kudos to you on that. I'm just amazed, just excited to just see your journey. But the other thing too, because you and I always talk about utilizing your network.
Yeah.
We utilized each other's networks, and constantly over the years. And it's always been genuine. It's not been something where it's like a grab and take. And
Right.
even if we meet someone who's like that snatch and grab type of person,
Yeah.
they don't last very long within the network, as they say, right? So I would say, so you're saying that utilizing your network is something that is key to rise in leadership. Okay.
Absolutely.
So the other question that I have, and this is what a lot of folks, I think we might neglect, or we don't talk about as often, which is your personal board of advisors. And so this is a personal board of advisors are folks who come in and give you advice about life, career, or what have you. Do you have a board of advisors or a personal board of advisors?
I do. I think it's very important that you surround yourself with individuals who have your best interests at heart,
Yes.
And know who you are and kind of know your goals, and what you want to get out of certain situations. So I do keep a very tight knit circle of advisors. Obviously, you would definitely count yourself among that group. My good friend Mel Franklin, who's on our county council, is definitely one of the main guys in that council. Rushern Baker is still a mentor for me, and I call on for advice a lot. My church family, my pastor, Henry Davis III of the First Baptist Church of Highland Park, provides that spiritual guidance for me. And then, two brothers that I can, call on anytime related to the fraternity, Brother Dr. Alex Bailey and Brother Denny Johnson, who brought me into the fraternity 6 years ago, and have been with me at every step of the way, even through my rapid ascent to chapter president. So absolutely. I do. My wife, obviously, Kim is, she's really the calming influence, in my life. She balances me tremendously, and doesn't let my head get too big, when I get appointed to these really nice and lofty positions. And, she reminds me that, hey, you still have to come home every night and, take care of our family. So, so she's those individuals are probably, my biggest supporters and natural board of advisors that I would say that I have.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kim is one of my board of advisors too. So she's sometimes spread thin when I'm around. So I'm like, but love your family, love the ascent of your career.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's just, even with the fraternity that you're involved in, or that you're a member of, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is
first family love all the way. There
you go. That's what I'm saying. I'm wearing yellow today, or the gold, in homage to.
Unfortunately, I'm wearing blue, but hey, we're first, so we can wear whatever colors we want.
There you go. That is very true. But I remember when you joined and you became a member, I was so excited and proud. And I thought it was just going to be Omar becoming a member, getting acclimated to the organization, and within I think a year or so, they made you president.
Well, no, it wasn't that fast, but it did seem to it came kind of quickly. So I joined the fraternity in 2016. In 2017, I was elected second VP.
Second.
So that kind of was fairly quick. To automatically go directly into leadership. But I had done so many other things, prior to joining the fraternity, which was a long time goal of mine. I didn't get an opportunity to do it while I was in school, but I knew it was something that I was going to do at some point when the time was right. And fortunately, in 2016, the timing was right.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate that I had two very good brothers who sponsored me into the fraternity, who saw what I could contribute, and immediately put me to work. And you don't get to do that. This, being a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, they don't trust just anybody with leadership in these groups. And so I was honored and humbled by the fact that they would put me into the leadership role so early on in my life in Alpha. And then fast forward, a couple of years later, 2020, we're in the pandemic, or right about to go into the pandemic. And I get elected chapter president. For the past 2 years, I led the chapter through the pandemic with one goal, which was to get us through the pandemic safely, without diminishing the quality of programs or community service that we provide to the county and to the region, as a matter of fact. And so I was successful with that, but those 2 years wore me out, and so this past June, I handed the reins over to my successor, Brother Kevin Stewart.
Wow, and then they named you Alpha Man of the Year. So that that was truly a humbling experience. I had no idea that they were going to honor me that way. Wow.
But we, I look back on the time that I was chapter president. We did some remarkable things. We did some really innovative things that, for an organization that has been around for over 115 years, just wasn't ready for. But that's we're talking about leadership. I knew it was the right thing to do, and so we did those things, and we were highly successful, and we were the model for much of the rest of the fraternity. So, I'm thankful that I had a group of brothers, well over 140 strong, that supported me during that time, because it was very easy for them to just kind of like, hey, I'm just going to stay in, I'm not catching COVID, none of that. We knew that we still had a responsibility to the public at large to provide service and advocacy in our community.
Yeah, definitely. Just amazing, Omar. I just, as soon as I saw they named you, I remember it was second vice president. I was just like, oh, wow. I was like, darn it. I was like, Omar's going to be. I was like, and, we have the scholarship fund. So I'm like, in my head, like, gosh, they, but, in those organizations, they recruit, or not those, but these organizations, they recruit the best of the best. And the best talent to get the job done, to do community service, and to serve just the family in general. And so it's not a surprise that they chose you immediately. And I'm sure there is more to come on that when it comes to Alpha Phi Alpha. And so I'm just excited to see what's to come on that end, especially also in your career. What would you say is one of your major strengths? We talked about your resiliency, giving 110%. But what is the biggest strength that you feel that you have?
That's a really good question. I would say that my biggest strength is adaptability. I don't shy away from going into uncomfortable environments. I've often been the only Black person in a room. And I haven't been afraid of that. It can be intimidating for a lot of folks, but it certainly hasn't been for me, because, I am part of mankind. And so I feel like I should be able to go into any environment and feel comfortable, and we'll make it feel comfortable. So I would say, overall, I think that my adaptability to any kind of situation that I'm thrown in really allows me to, build a rapport,
Right.
a comradeship with those others that are around me, so
Right.
that whatever goal or mission that we have, we can execute that at a
Yeah.
very high.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely would say that. I mean, your strength, adaptability is one thing, but the ability to lead in a way that is not overbearing,
Yeah,
or micromanaging.
yeah.
There's a sense of urgency when you come into the picture,
I'm
right?
very collaborative, even though I get this rap that I'm a dictator. I don't know where that really comes from, but
Yeah,
I think I have a very collaborative approach.
you do.
I shoot things down because I think, hey, this might not be as well thought out as it needs to be, but I'm
Yeah,
going to listen to you at
right,
least. I'll
right.
listen to you. I'll judge you based on what you present in front of me, and then
Mhm.
I may decide that perhaps that's not the best way for us to go at this time, or
Yeah,
maybe more thought needs to be put into it. But I try to be very collaborative,
yeah,
and and get buy-in,
yes,
especially if I have an idea, and
yeah,
I solicit, and I take honest feedback and
yeah,
criticism.
yeah,
I'm a big boy. I don't feel like I know everything.
right,
There are a lot of leaders who feel like they have to know everything. No, you
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
And so, as long as you have trust in the people that you are leading
that's
to accomplish some of the goals that you have, I
yeah,
think you should be very comfortable with soliciting feedback, hearing criticism, and
yeah.
then putting forward the best opportunity to get the mission done.
Absolutely. Authenticity. That's a big strength of yours.
Yeah.
And being honest and upfront. I get that too. I think that's why we have synergy. It's more
Yeah.
so we understand what it is for someone to come and tell us, hey, straight up, this is what it is, right? And I have valued that over the years, and I know a lot of people do in our network. And I think for some, it's not a dictatorship. I think that's totally different. We've seen
Maybe,
that.
maybe it's just because I'm very direct. I am a very direct individual.
We
So,
both are. Yeah, we both are. Yeah, it's not a bad not a bad trait. It's more so I think if you're not used to it, then
right.
it might
Yeah.
become jarring for a lot of people. But I think it's just the style. It's some people may be more indirect in their approach. Some people are more direct. It's just it's how effective you are with your leadership, with
Yeah.
how the team responds to you.
Okay.
But it's not being nasty or mean, right?
No,
And
not at all.
never,
Not at all.
I've never seen that in with you at all. It's more
No.
so
I
there's a
certainly never.
yeah.
I never criticize, in public.
Mhm.
That's not my style. I may, make a smart remark or
Right.
something like that, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely going to follow up with you, behind closed doors, and kind of give you, or give an individual or someone that I'm working with or someone
Right.
that worked for me, you
Mhm.
know, guidance on how they might have handled certain situations a lot better.
Yeah.
But there are times where I've kind of let it out there, and folks will come back to me and was like, "Hey, Omar,
Yeah.
you could have been
Yeah.
a little nicer there." But
Right. But no, but I think
overall,
yeah. I think overall, I think for you, it is an amazing journey that you've had over the years. I think as an advisor to a lot of political entities and a lot of political appointees,
yeah,
it is very valued. And in their success, it has shown, that your advice and your guidance and counsel has helped them to get to where they are today. So that's an amazing thing. And a lot of people talk about authenticity, but I think you live it,
I, I try.
that's key. It's
Yeah.
golden. It's golden.
Learned that
So
from my grandmother.
yeah, yes, absolutely. And also in our life experiences, both and I share, the loss of a mother at a very very early age. So there's a sense of urgency in terms of getting to the getting to things quickly, but
Yeah.
more so because we see, further. We have that vision. I think you mentioned that before. It's like
Yeah.
having that vision to see more of where we could be and actually executing on that. So, but again, different approaches are effective in other ways. This approach is effective in another way too. but as long as you're not offending or, badgering someone, or really making someone feel small, I think that there are ways to work around it. Perfection isn't what we strive for, but we do strive for, making it so that people feel included and collaborative along the effort. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. So well, a couple more questions before we close, because I've got some self-care questions I want to ask you about. But any obstacles in terms of the rise to leadership that you faced that you can talk, just one or two examples?
So I think one that I could think of, this actually, had to do when I was in the Navy Office of Legislative Affairs, a job that I loved, and would have stayed, if it were the right situation for me and my family. But I was mentored and trained in that job by an institution who prepared me very well for the eventuality of their retirement. And so when that individual retired, I started doing the job, doing it well, exceptionally well, actually. And I thought it was time for promotion.
Yeah.
And so I waited out, I stayed in this position knowing that I was going to eventually take over when I had more attractive offers to go somewhere else, years prior. But, I loved being in the Navy. I love being associated with it. I love being in the Pentagon. I mean, this was the office that we shared the same 9/11 experience, being in the Pentagon. So it was going to be, it had to be the absolute right situation for me to leave.
Yeah.
But hey, my family was growing, and Chase was getting older and more expensive, and so I needed to make some moves, and so it was a very hard decision, but one that I had to make because the leadership at the time didn't feel like they had the resources to promote me at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so, I gave them as much time as they could, as they needed. But then I had to do what was right for my family. And I also think that it was right for me, career-wise as well, because it forced me to get out of my comfort zone. I literally grew up in the Pentagon. It was all I knew, since being, 18 or 19 years old. And so, but it was kind of scary. It was a scary moment for me to transition to another agency, but it worked out well. And I certainly wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't, take charge there and do what was in the best interest for me and my family. So I don't know if that's really an obstacle, but I guess, it was something that I had to overcome, the fear of leaving, an agency that I loved and grew up in.
Yeah. Fear. Yeah. That often change is something that
absolutely.
A lot of us fear. But once we overcome it,
Right.
It's, we hold us back from the next level in our life.
Exactly.
And, you making that step, especially having a family, young family at the time, a growing family, that move made you where you, those steps took you to where you are now.
Right. Helps me pay Chase's tuition. So,
all of my friends are talking about it. Yeah. I mean, it's that tuition. It's that, those expenses you have for your family that you want to provide. Right. And so, you being dedicated to not just the community, I know how dedicated you are to your family and providing for them. So, making that move, although difficult, it's taking a look at, where you are now and versus where you want to be.
Yeah.
And your career, your story, your bio is a testament to what change can do, right? What change can really do. And I'm super proud of you, just honored to just be, your friend. And, as we continue to, strive and do community service with Footprint Scholarship and with other things that, come up in the community that we collaborate on, I'm just excited to, see the future of where everything will go. But you have been a tremendous friend and family member, I just say to me.
And your brother.
You're my brother. Everybody knows you. My family knows you, and that is very exciting because you know how I am about my family. I'm like very, very close knit, very large, but not everybody gets to meet everybody, right? So, but they talk about you all the time. So,
Love them all.
Yeah. So, but just excited that you are just on your way up. I'm excited to see what's next for you. So, in the business circle, we talk about business leadership and self-care. And self-care is one of the questions that I always ask our guests. What do you do to, take on, or what regiments do you have for self-care?
Yeah, self-care is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
If the pandemic showed us anything, it showed us that we need to take time for ourselves.
Yes.
Mental health, physical health, spiritual health are incredibly important to a good quality of life. And so, for me, I try to balance work, professional life, home life, fraternity life, all of that stuff. It's hard, but I still manage to do it. And the way I think that I'm able to keep it all together, I try to run at least twice a week. It's been really hot lately, so I haven't been outside much. But I like to run. I still like to play racquetball. I think
right. Yeah. You play with
prior to the pandemic, Monday nights were off limits because I was playing racquetball.
Yes, we know. Yes.
So physical health is extremely important. And then finally, just making sure that your faith remains strong. I still might not go physically to church as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I still listen in to our services online.
Yeah.
And I know that my pastor is always just a call away for me to call or text and chat with him. And then spending time with my family, when I can, when they want to be bothered with me. So that's always a great way for me to make sure that I have the balance of my life that I need.
Yeah. Awesome. So physical exercise, spending time, through your faith, and spending time with family is very key, And I know how important that is to you as we've known each other. And you've taught me things in terms of self-care, in terms of, making sure that we stay balanced and taking on, whether we're doing things too much or too little, you always take it to the next level to see a bigger vision. And so I know that's what you have for Chase and for you and Kim. It's it's exciting to see. And, like I said, I'm just excited to see what the future holds. I know this is not it for you. I know you're at the Department of Veterans, and I'm sure they have more ideas for your career there.
I don't know if I'm ready for them yet, though, but we'll see. Again, I'm in a really good situation. I've been very fortunate all throughout my career to work on some incredible teams with good people. And so, hopefully, as long as I can maintain that, I'll have a long career at the VA. But all good things must come to an end at some point, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity or to the next adventure, if you will. So I'm not sure what exactly that's going to be yet, but you'll be the first to know when I'm ready to make that decision.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So one last thing before we head out. So 3 tips you can give people on the rise to leadership.
Oh, wow. Surround yourself with good people.
Yes.
Make sure you take full advantage of your network and those around you, their networks as well.
Absolutely.
And I guess the third thing is to know yourself. Know what drives you. Know what makes you get out of bed every single day, and want to make a difference. I think those are the 3 pieces of advice that I could probably give right now.
And that's very good advice. Absolutely. Knowing thyself is true. A lot of folks take on leadership positions and don't know themselves enough to understand other people. So that is definitely very true. Your network is key too. I'm loving it. I love it. So thank you so much, Omar. We can talk again. We could talk for another hour or so.
We really could. Absolutely. This has been great. This has been great.
Yeah, I want to shout out our network of people in the political arena and in other places who will be listening to this. We appreciate their support when it comes to just being in business or being in community service. All of that is part of it. But I always tell people you are the vessel that takes action, and
Absolutely.
that is something that you do on a consistent basis. And so anybody would be great, or anybody would be lucky to have you on their team as a leader anywhere. So as we go out, I know that you are, going out or you've retired, or your tenure is over for the Alpha Phi Alpha, but you can always be reached through LinkedIn. People want to reach out to you there. Also, if folks want to know a little bit more about Omar's background when it comes to the Footprint Scholarship Fund, they can also reach him there. And if you folks want to find out more about our interviews like this with Omar, you can go to www.radiantpearl.com and find out more information. And then at the bottom of this, if you want to subscribe to our mailing list, you can go to radiantpearl.com/subscribe. So it's been a pleasure, Omar, to talk to you, and an honor to have you.
Always. Love you. Congratulations on Radient Pearl. You're doing an outstanding job, connecting the business world, and really looking forward to being a part of your continued journey as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Omar. You have a great one.
Have a good one. Thank you.